Strategy was an important document early on in the Trump administration for all the noise that people talked about at the White House and the fact that we were quickly on to our second national security advisor and new deputies. We, in record time, got a powerful statement in the National Security Strategy of December 2017, and it talked about a return to great power competition, and that was General H.R. McMaster's, I think, big insight. I think we've evolved since then, that we do have Russia and China as great power competitors. They've been that for a long time. A lot of this is a recognition of the reality that's been on the ground. But there is I think we're differentiating those challenges. Russia is more of a kind of a global survivor, I think, in its great. One of the ways in which Donald Trump has contributed to a bipartisan foreign policy consensus is on China, because at the start of his presidency, there wasn't the kind of understanding that China is the long-term threat. It is a real problem. But what we're doing at state is to say, we're in agreement with you on trade, but trade is not the only problem, and maybe not the biggest in the long run with China. And perhaps it's really a symptom of the China problem, which has deeper historical and strategic roots than we've understood. We have the Indo-Pacific and the trade side. Those are the ones that raced ahead faster, but we're now looking more deeply and broadly at China. And I think state is in the lead in that broader attempt to get something like a letter X for China, what Kennan wrote. You can't have a policy without an argument underneath it. And what hasn't happened in this century is that we haven't advanced the argument. And that's what we're working on, both the argument and the broader threat at state. And if it will happen at the State Department. So it's different than Russia in that way. And it's different as an adversarial dyad than in the 20th century with the Soviet Union, in the sense that not to make light of the Cold War and the reality of nuclear war that could have happened, and the fact that we came close in some instances. But when we think about the Soviet Union and that competition, in a way, it was a fight within the Western family. Karl Marx was a German Jew who developed a philosophy that was really within the larger body of political thought that reaches the work that you've done, that I've been involved with, that has some tenets even within classical liberalism. And so in that way, I think it was a huge fight within the Western family. And you could look at the Soviet Union, part West, part East, but it had some openings there that got us the Helsinki Final Act in 1975, which is, it was a really important Western concept that opened the door really to undermine the Soviet Union, a totalitarian state on human rights principles. That's not really possible with China. This is a fight with a really different civilization and a different ideology, and the United States hasn't had that before, nor has it had an economic competitor the way that we have. The Soviet Union was a country with nuclear weapons, a huge Red Army, but a backwards economy. And that was the insight of Reagan when the intel community told him differently. He said, I just don't see the signs that it can survive a technology race with the West. So in China, we have an economic competitor, we have an ideological competitor, one that really does seek a kind of global reach that many of us didn't expect a couple of decades ago. And I think it's also striking that it's the first time that we will have a great power competitor that is not Caucasian.
And I think all like of Huntington's Clash of Civilizations.
Some of those tenets, but a little bit different. And all of those things together are a bit perplexing for the American foreign policy establishment. And I think we have to, take the rose-colored glasses off and get real about the nature of the threat. And I think we also have to give a kind of respect for, I think, what the Chinese seek to accomplish.